What's up, guys? Nash here. I'm going to do a few videos regarding the superstars of Muscleworks. Muscleworks is obviously one of the most famous bodybuilding gyms in the world. Probably many of you have heard about Muscleworks in London. And before I start doing separate videos on the superstars of Muscleworks, people like Brian Buchanan, J.D. the Voodoo, Ian Wadley, Amory Francis, Patrick Nichols, and some others, I want to say a few words about Muscleworks and why is this gym so iconic? What happened here in London? The gym that simply attracted all the most famous bodybuilders in the world, and it's very difficult to actually remember some big names who didn't even come to Muscleworks. I mean, Muscleworks is so famous as one of the best bodybuilding gyms in the world, not to mention in UK without comparison, not only because of the equipment and position, because it's in London, relatively in a good part of London, not that far from centre and not that far from the city, but also because of the attitude and culture that we actually have developed in this amazing gym. Muscleworks is like a big family, and everybody knows that. Every member in Muscleworks simply can't wait to come to this gym, because the gym is like home for all of us. We know each other. We know each other. Some people I know for 30 years now. So imagine you go there and you see people that you've been together for three decades, even more than that. That gym has developed some completely unique atmosphere, and it's so reputable that people like, for example, Dorian Yates, Ronnie Coleman, who else was in Muscleworks? Phil Heath, Lila Brada, The Rock, Victor Richards, Flex Wheeler. They all used to come to Muscleworks. Every time they are in London, they're obviously going to end up in Muscleworks. Where else? And there are also many famous bodybuilders who came out of Muscleworks, British bodybuilders. But I'm going to talk about them separately. Now, the history of Muscleworks is important to mention, because in 1988, Savas Kuriakou decided to open the gym, which will be very different than all other gyms, which will actually accommodate serious bodybuilders who have eventually become professional bodybuilders later on. And in 1988, as I said, in Bethnal Green on the high road, he opened Muscleworks. It was very popular, and very quickly the gym became small. The premises were small, so he moved the gym further up 2 years later into Hague Street. It was much bigger there, but it was until a few years ago when the gym moved again. It's still in Bethnal Green, now is in Valence Road, and now is much bigger on 2 floors. I mean, imagine just the whole first floor is devoted to the leg equipment, so you can imagine what kind of gym is that. Sav put massive effort, and is one of the very rare people that you're going to meet in your life with so much passion and consistency. If he envisaged something, if he has an idea about how to do things in the best possible way, you know that it's going to happen. And I know him for almost 30 years now, because I moved to London in '93, and obviously the first destination was Muscleworks. So I am in Muscleworks since 1993. And I know Sav very well. We are good friends. I mean, I can tell you that the man has done for bodybuilding in this country more than anybody else, without doubt. And this is not just my statement. Obviously, the history has shown that bodybuilders who actually started training in Muscleworks, they became national champions, and then they became professional bodybuilders. Some of them competed even on Olympia, and they were all in a way bred in Muscleworks. We learned from each other. Sav was always there to advise, to help. Sav was also a very successful competitive bodybuilder. And as you can see in these images, Saf competed in late 80s and 90s, and he was always in the finals in British Championship. But because he was so much into business, he didn't stay long into competitive years, and he devoted himself more to expanding the gyms, improving. But Jim, thanks to his dedication and ambition and consistency, attracted the best bodybuilders. Some of the best bodybuilders in the world. So people came from everywhere. I mean, I came from Yugoslavia. Jemo came from Algeria. Gilbert came from Ghana. Then Patrick was here. He came from Barbados. A lot of people came from everywhere, and the destination was always London, mainly because of Muscleworks. This is the fact. Now, people, as you can see on this picture, you can see JD is there, Amory Francis, Dennis is there, Saf obviously, Jemo Nazar, that's me, it's Dushko Popovsky. So not only that in those days we really trained hard, and bodybuilding was everything. We were so passionate about bodybuilding, although we didn't have much money coming out of bodybuilding, but it was so important, to get in the best possible shape, to get as big as possible, to compete in the regional shows, win them, and then go to British, etc. So people came, people trained. Although we were a big family there, good, very good, close friends. The atmosphere is also very competitive. So you have JD there, you have Ian Wadley, you have Amory, Brian Buchanan, top bodybuilders in the country, and you just try to be as good as they are, train as hard as they train, and it was just an amazing atmosphere. And I can simply say honestly that in the 90s it was simply the golden era of Muscleworks, because there were so many good bodybuilders then there, and also the camaraderie was amazing. If you don't know anything or something, or you want to learn a little bit more about the diet, about training, other things as well, you go and you talk to each other. We were like sharing everything. Everything was so transparent. I don't know. I don't think nowadays we live in the same world. So what is very important to mention is that Muscleworks actually has some of the most advanced equipment. And Saf has picked them up. They're all hand-picked. So there are a lot of companies who make gym equipment we just don't have there, because they're not very good. They are not ergonomically fine, because they don't copy the biomechanics of human bodies. So they're not very effective. So everything you see in Muscleworks, Hammer Strength, G-Mate, all hand-picked. Not all of them, but it's not a whole line there, but all the best pieces of Hammer Strength and the G-Mate, and some also old equipment like Flex and Strive and Universal, they're all there, but they are absolutely second to none. And there is a lot of huge area of there's a lot of free weights as well, obviously, that people use, dumbbells, heavy weights, barbells. So I call it factory. I've been training clients exclusively in Muscleworks for decades, and sometimes they ask me to go to different gyms, to some fancier gyms or gyms which are closer to places where they live, but I simply refuse to do that, because I said to them, if you want me to really get in shape, then I need you to be in the factory. I need a factory. You're not going to make a BMW in some poxy factory. You need a top quality factory. So if you want to be really a top of your possibilities, if you want to get in the best shape that you can possibly be, man or women, regardless, obviously you need the best possible conditions. You need the best possible gym, and I can't find better gym than this. There was never one in London or anywhere else in this country, although there are good gyms around. But when you put everything together, Muscleworks is really it's something special. Now in Muscleworks, again, to support all this history and story about Muscleworks, you have something we call eternity wall, and as you can see on these pictures, the walls are covered with images of bodybuilders, serious bodybuilders, competitive bodybuilders, professional bodybuilders, and everyone who actually who has achieved something really valuable, something really big in bodybuilding, and is in Muscleworks, happening in Muscleworks, is on this wall, and we call it eternity wall. So all these pictures are actually showing who was in Muscleworks, how much they managed to achieve, and is extremely inspirational place. So being the place, as I explained, full of most effective equipment that you can imagine, Muscleworks still attracts a lot of people, a lot of competitive bodybuilders. Everybody who is serious about bodybuilding, it has to be in Muscleworks. There is no other place to go. You can see some famous faces nowadays in classic bodybuilding, in physique category, and obviously in the open class. You see a lot of people there that you probably recognize from muscle bodybuilding magazines and from YouTube or internet. Everybody serious is in Muscleworks. So Muscleworks still keeps attracting top bodybuilders in the country, and also a lot of people who really want to get in the best possible shape. They don't have to be competitive bodybuilders, but there are a lot of serious people. I mean, every time you walk there, you will see 10, 15 bodies, which will just blow your mind. They don't have to be competitive, but still, people are trying to achieve their best. And thanks to Saf and his vision and his consistency and huge effort, Muscleworks is still there, going stronger than ever and attracting more people than ever. At the moment, it's got a few thousand members and it's growing. Even this new gym, which is amazing and is on 2 big floors, is becoming small. But that's just, when you do things right in life, you just can't avoid being so popular and so successful. So yeah, this much about Muscleworks. If you are serious about training, want to achieve the best possible shape, you know where to come. There is I have nothing more to say. So there is one place. Muscleworks is the gym. Is the gym of your choice. Muscleworks in Bethnal Green is the flagship, and then we have another one which is in Stoke Newington. But the one in Bethnal Green is the place where most serious people do come. So this much about Muscleworks. This is like an introduction video. And in the next few videos, I will be talking about the most successful competitive bodybuilders or professional bodybuilders who actually came from Muscleworks. And as I said, they are really superstars of Muscleworks. People like Brian Buchanan, Amory Francis, J.D. the Voodoo, Ian Wadley, Patrick Nichols, etc. So I hope you take care of yourself, and I see you in the next video.